During the World Cup, millions of people will clear their schedules, lose sleep, and scream at a television screen for 90 minutes. But why? Why do we attach our entire mood, happiness, and identity to 11 strangers running on a field? It's not just for the love of the game. Your brain is secretly using the World Cup as a psychological escape. Think about how you act on a normal Tuesday. You probably keep your emotions in check. You manage your stress. You stay relatively quiet. And if you're like most introspective people, you spend a lot of energy trying to maintain control over your environment and your reactions. But when a major tournament begins, those unwritten rules of adulthood disappear. Suddenly, it becomes completely acceptable to pace around the room, clutch your head in despair, or shout with joy. You allow your heart rate to spike over an event you have absolutely zero physical control over. It feels like a temporary, drastic rewiring of your everyday personality. The strange part isn't just the cheering, it's our willingness to endure the intense stress of it all. Modern life is already inherently exhausting. We spend most of our mental energy trying to minimize anxiety, avoid conflict, and predict outcomes just to keep ourselves feeling safe. So why, when we are already emotionally tired, do we actively seek out a 90-minute experience that guarantees anxiety? Why do we voluntarily hand over the keys to our emotional well-being to a group of athletes halfway across the world? When your team loses, the disappointment is heavy, visceral, and real. It can cast a shadow over your entire week. Yet 4 years later, you are right back in front of the screen, wearing the same colors, ready to subject yourself to it all over again. We usually frame this behavior as simply passion or loyalty, but psychologically, something much deeper is happening behind the scenes. The brain isn't just looking for sports entertainment, it's looking for a specific type of emotional container. In our day-to-day lives, our worries are often vague, endless, and complicated. Will I succeed in my career? Am I a good enough person? What does the future actually hold? These are chronic stressors without a clear endpoint. But a football match? A football match is entirely different. The psychology of sports obsession, particularly during a massive global event like the World Cup, revolves around a concept called bounded anxiety. Your brain naturally craves certainty and closure. In the real world, personal problems drag on for months or years without resolution. But a football game has strict boundaries. It has rules, a referee, a defined physical space, and most importantly, a definitive ticking clock. For exactly 90 minutes, your brain is allowed to project all of its pent-up, generalized anxiety onto a single, highly visible target. The threat is no longer your mortgage, your relationships, or your unread emails. The threat is simply the opposing team. This provides a powerful, almost primal form of catharsis. It's a safe, socially sanctioned way to experience the full, overwhelming spectrum of human emotion, fear, rage, grief, and pure euphoria, without the actual real-world consequences that usually accompany those feelings. If your team loses, you feel genuine grief, but your life, your family, and your shelter remain fundamentally intact. It's a perfectly simulated emotional roller coaster. Furthermore, there's the profound impact of shared identity and mirror neurons. Humans are deeply social creatures, historically wired to survive by belonging to a tribe. Modern society, however, can feel incredibly fragmented and isolating. The World Cup offers a temporary, instantaneous cure for that modern loneliness. When you watch a player miss a crucial penalty, your mirror neurons fire as if you just missed it yourself. And when you look around the room or see millions of people reacting the exact same way online, your brain receives a massive, comforting dose of belonging. You become part of a synchronized emotional organism. Your personal, quiet struggles are momentarily eclipsed by a shared, collective purpose. You can easily spot this psychological shift in our everyday behaviors during a tournament. Consider the superstitious fan. Maybe you have a specific chair you have to sit in, or a lucky jersey you refuse to wash during the knockout stages. Logically, your rational brain knows that your posture in your living room has absolutely no physical effect on a player running on grass thousands of miles away, yet you do it anyway. Why? Because the brain is desperately trying to assert a sense of agency in a situation where it has none at all. It's a harmless coping mechanism for the deep discomfort of powerlessness. Or think about the phenomenon of post-match emptiness. When a tournament finally ends, even if your team wins the whole thing, there's often a strange, quiet melancholy the next day. The schedule clears out, the collective noise of the world stops. The psychological container that was holding all that focused energy disappears, and suddenly you are left alone with your own mind again. The stark contrast between the high-stakes, colorful drama of a final match and the gray, mundane reality of a normal Monday morning commute can feel incredibly jarring. Now, it's very easy to view this through a cynical lens, to dismiss sports fans as irrational, or to view this massive emotional investment as a waste of time and energy. But that is a fundamental misunderstanding of how human psychology operates. Escapism often gets a bad reputation, frequently framed as avoidance or weakness. But healthy escapism is actually a vital psychological maintenance tool. Your nervous system isn't designed to be in a constant, unbroken state of heavy self-reflection and real-world problem-solving. It needs a break. It needs spaces where the stakes feel incredibly high but are actually incredibly low. The nuance, as always, lies in self-awareness. The World Cup only becomes a problem when it is used to permanently numb your reality rather than temporarily relieve it. If the outcome of a match dictates how you treat your family, or if the anger from a loss spills over into destructive real-world behavior, the bounded anxiety has broken its boundaries. It's no longer a safe emotional container, it has become a leak. The goal isn't to stop caring or to try and intellectualize the fun out of the game. The goal is simply to understand why you care so deeply, so you can fully enjoy the release without becoming entirely consumed by it. So the next time you find yourself screaming at a television screen, your heart racing, completely absorbed in the trajectory of a ball, don't judge yourself for being irrational. You aren't just wasting time. You are participating in one of the oldest psychological rituals we have. You are giving your overthinking mind a designated, safe playground. You are borrowing a clear, simple conflict to temporarily rest from the complex, ambiguous conflicts of your actual life. Let yourself feel the joy, the intense tension, and even the bitter heartbreak. Understand that the tears and the cheers are just your mind's way of breathing out, stretching its emotional muscles in a space where it is finally allowed to do so. It's a 90-minute vacation from being you. Enjoy the escape. And when the final whistle blows, take a deep, grounding breath and quietly step back into your own world.